Hi. Am I live? Can you hear me? Does it work? I don't know if it works. Can you see me? Does it work? Can you hear me? Okay, it works. Yay! Hello. I was waiting because I didn't want to be here on my own, but then I didn't know that it would only work when I started the stream. Like, it would only show up then. Okay. Anyway, hey Kitty. Hey Chadia. How are you doing? I don't stream a lot and I don't know how to do it. I'll show you what I'm reading. I'm reading The Killer Question by Janice Hallett, which is the newest book by her. And I love her. She's a great author, so I'm really excited. I started it earlier today. My initial plan was to read enough of this to be able to finish it tonight during sprints. I don't think that's going to happen. What it's about, well, we have this guy who sends an email to this production company, say, hey, if you want to make a true crime documentary, I know something to make it about my parents or grandparents. And then he's like, I can give you all the stuff. And so he's like, sent them like a bunch of like emails and text messages and whatnot. And it's about these people. They run a pub that is kind of famous for its pub quiz. And then something will happen, I suppose. So that's what it's about. And hello, Cleo. Wait, I can show this, right? Yes, I can show it. Hi. Okay. Ooh, you finished My Friends. Did you like it overall? Because I know that you had certain issues. So did you like it overall? And Rewitched, is that the Lucy Jane Wood one? That is on my TBR for at some point, but I don't know when. But one day, hopefully. Hello, Cleo. How are you doing? Let's pretend. So you finished Magical Readathon, which is really nice. You could get a head start in October. You can read down the TBR, which is what you do. There's stuff to do. You could just watch YouTube, I guess. You don't have to read. Yeah, we should. All books that are not for you should have a printed stickers on the front with "Not for Kitty." That sounds like a very smart commercial choice. Yes. The Girl with All the Gifts. I started that at some point, but it was just like a not in the mood thing. So I put it down again, and I plan to start it again at some point, but I don't know when. And then the fourth Dark Tower book. I don't know nothing about Dark Tower, so I can comment on that. Ooh, book club. Book clubs are fun. The Lights of Prague. I don't know this. I'm gonna look that up. Is it by Nicole Jarvis? Is that the one? That sounds cool. Vampires? I'm not a vampire person. No, okay, never mind. If it's vampires, then I don't need it. Oopsie. I am really tired, and I'm not entirely sure why. I guess I'm also hungry, so maybe that's why I'm tired. So my first sprint will be dinner. Hee hee. It's in the oven now. So I'll eat, and then I'll, hopefully be less tired once I have fuel. Having dinner at the moment, smakelijk, Chadia. What I have for dinner, I have macaroni with cheese and ham. I'm really looking forward to it. It's been a while since I ate it because it's not a summer thing, right? If it's too hot out, it doesn't, it needs to be semi-cold at least. It's like I've really been looking forward to this. It is kind of a student meal. I was fully planning on cooking tonight. I promise. Actually properly cook. But I just wanted the the ready thing that you just need to heat up with the very fake cheese sauce thing, I wanted that one. So, the broccoli. Wait, I'll get the broccoli. Hang on. 2 seconds. There he is. He's here too. He's not really high enough to properly show. Wait, can I guess I'll just have to. Okay. He can sit next to the comments to support us and give us mental encouragement to read. So yeah. Oh no, we don't do cannibalism in this house. No. No eating the special broccoli. His name is Bruno. So, yeah. Oh no, we cut him up. Wait, I'll put him up here. Maybe he can. Is he visible? Okay, I'll put it up there. Pre-baked chicken. I made some fries. Cool with it. Yeah, that's the thing. Cooking for one is just so many leftovers all the time. And so I opened a new Albertan, and I wanted to go, but there was a line outside. I'm not gonna stand in line to be able to enter a store. That is insane. No. That's too much. So I'm really hoping that by next week the newness will have worn off a little bit, and so it becomes fewer people, I hope. So I can go. Because I'm actually really excited to go because it's a pretty big one as well. And so, yeah. We'll see. Anyway, I think let's start the first sprint. I'm not sure how long we should go for. Just like a grocery store, like your regular food thing, like not very special, but I'm really happy that it's here. A lot of my friends are really happy that it's here because like it's in the center of the city and it's pretty big. So it'll have stuff, and there is the one place where I usually go. Like they're not bad in terms of like the products that they have, but like the people aren't very friendly, and so I don't quite enjoy going there. So I was hoping to have like this new place where they have a decent assortment of stuff, and I can just have friendly people help me. Yes, people were in line for groceries. Insanity, just insanity. And I was like, no, 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 I will not be one of these people. I'll go to the other place. Yeah. Yeah, they have different stuff, and I think that that is where like a lot of people want to go there. For me, it's just a practical thing. Like I want something that is kind of close by that has stuff, because they're like some really tiny ones who barely have anything. And I'm tired of eating the same thing over and over again because they have like very limited, number of things that you can get there. So we'll see. Anyway, I was saying I'm not sure how long to make this first sprint. I was gonna do 45-minute sprints, but then because I was like, I'm gonna have dinner in this first sprint, should I make it longer? But then my thought process of making it longer was that it would be in the oven. But now I put it in the oven before sprint started. So it doesn't have to be as long for me to still have enough time to eat before. I have to be on camera again and you don't want to watch me eat. So I think 45 minutes is actually a pretty decent time thing. And then we can chat again. 5 supermarkets, but not yeah. The thing is, if it was like a little further from the center, I would be like fine when it comes to supermarkets, but it's like just a little too far away sometimes, like I don't want to have to walk. It's not ridiculously far, but I don't want to have to walk that far every week to get groceries. So yeah. Okay, so wait, how? Now I have to figure out how to hang on. I have to figure out how to share my screen. I guess I can. Oh, I can. Oh, okay. You see that? Yes, you can see it. Oh my gosh! Yay. Okay. Wait. 1945. I'm not. Oh, until 1915. Okay, yeah, I get that. Hello, how are you doing? I have to disappear from here. Oh, I didn't know that. That's really odd, though. Yeah, and it's weird they're back now. Yeah. Okay, anyway, I think that my dinner is going to be ready like every second now. So I'll start the first sprint. Hello. How did the sprint go? I ate. Then I changed because my tank top was bothering me. So I'm gonna get proper t-shirt now. And then I read a little, and the killer question, and it's really interesting. Okay. What did I miss during the sprint? Just plugging in to the like button. Hello. And I've arrived too. How are you doing? When the author replies that the book is best enjoyed with a cat. Yes, cats can sometimes be a disruptive force. I get it. Cooking dinner, then back to Italian folktales by Italo Calvino. I really need to read more Calvino. I really liked If on a Winter Night a Traveler. I need to read more by him. Page 79 of 416. Good job. The start of chapter 3. Nice. Booktube and a coloring app. Sounds fantastic. The disruptive force of the cats bothering us all. Well, not me, because I don't have cats, but I can live vicariously through you. Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah, I think it's really interesting to see like folk tales change in different, like the same story in different places, I guess. That was interesting. Yeah, I will try Italian folktales at some point, hopefully. Try the coloring app, and it was really nice. I am a little addicted to my coloring app, like one of the color by numbers type thing. And you also have some that are like mystery images, so like you don't know what they're going to be. There's also no lines on the thing. You just have to color it. And once you like have selected a color, it will like show you what area. But other than that, there's no lines on it. And I really like those. And just like discovering what the image is as you go along. I think that's a lot of fun. But yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Audio's for inaudible until tomorrow. Yeah, 29 hours before tomorrow. It's going to be a little bit of a stretch, I feel. They're addictive. Well, at least the experiences I've had with coloring apps are addictive. And yeah, I actually quite enjoy them. They're quite relaxing, so I'm not mad about them. 8 pages of the girl with all the gifts. That's at least 8 pages. I'm glad you're liking it. I had to Italian folk tales book in my hand a lot, I think. But at that point, my luggage was too heavy already. Yeah. Well, I hope that you'll be able to finish it in time. But if it's just like a bunch of folk tales, like just one being told one after the other, like if you don't manage to read like the last one, I don't think it's a huge deal. Like you'll at least have completed stories, right? Or is that not the case? So I feel like if there is one book that you don't know if you're going to be able to finish it in time, you know, it's better if those are like short stories because then you can, you know, I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, what else can we talk about? I, during eating, watched part of an episode of Chantal, which, for those who aren't familiar, is a like sort of like it's a comedy take on a police show. It's not like I want to like consistently watch it on like I'm actually following it, but an episode once in a while is always fun, I guess. So I watched like, I don't know, 20 minutes of an episode, and then I finished dinner, so I went to reading. It's like, yeah. What else can we talk about? I'm not used to this. I feel weird. Yes, Tanya, it is a Belgian TV show. It's with Maaike Kofmeijer. Like I'm not a massive fan of Maaike Kofmeijer, but like I don't, you know, I don't know. Hello, how are you doing? Doing magical readathon this month, so I need some sprints to get me over the finish line. I'm happy to provide. Let us know what you're reading. All Fours and the Persian. I don't think I know either of them. Let me look them up. All Fours. Is it by Miranda Julie? The cover is pretty cool. And what was the other one? The Persian. A First World War book. That doesn't sound for me. I feel like I've seen All Fours around, but I haven't really heard a lot of people talk about. And yes, you can do it. We believe in you. We're here to cheer you on. We have a broccoli for extra motivation and emotional support. Sending his magic vegetable powers your way or something. I don't know where I'm going with that. Like some films maybe for was interesting. The Palladium I picked up randomly in a used book shop. Yeah, that's nice always, like just picking up a book you don't really know, and then being surprised. Historical fiction is a new base for me. I enjoy historical fiction every once in a while, but I prefer my historical fiction to be not quite as recent. So, like, essentially, if it's later than the First World War, I become less interested. I prefer it to be a little older than that. Food coma plus warm cat on lap. Oh, it sounds like nap time. So yeah. I have to go with my grandma in the next sprint. Good luck. Finished a goal before the end of the sprint. Good luck with that. That can sometimes be a bit of a challenge with grandmas. Read all the World War I books I want to, really more than I wanted to. Yeah. I'm like, there was a while where like every other historical fiction book was like World War II. And it was intense. And I've had like a phase where I read them, but then it was too much. It was just too much, and I for some reason I don't think of historical fiction books the moment the book is after 1900. Yeah, I feel that way with like World War II. So like, if it's a World War II book, I still consider that historical fiction. But like stuff later than that, I'm like, no. Like I know that the 70s was 50 years ago, but a book set in the 70s is not historical fiction, in my opinion. Like, I don't, just the vibe is not different enough, in my opinion. So, yeah. The German book market, every historical fiction is still World War II. Yeah. There's still quite a lot of them, but I'm just, I don't know. Maybe it's just like the sort of niche that I'm looking for a bit more than I'm not really looking for the World War II books. But I guess that if just randomly go into a bookstore and look, then probably a lot of it is still World War II, which is just like, after a while, it just feels like you're reading the same story over and over again. And I'm like, write something else. All Quiet of the Western Front and Storm of Steel. Not exactly historical fiction. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know Storm of Steels, and I haven't read All Quiet on the Western Front, but I think I know what you mean. I feel like focused too much on the working schools you can. Actually, funny enough, Cleo, with my So we had like the 5th year history class went like up until World War II, and then 6th year started from like after World War II. So like we never actually like properly, at least not in high school, like in high school history class, at least I should say, we like came across it, right? But we never like properly did it, like the war itself, because we like ended right before it, like with the lead up to it, and then we start again right after it. So I think that is, you know, so that's kind of funny. Like World War One was a lot, but World War Two was actually not that much. Like in elementary school and stuff, we looked into it, and like in other classes, we like sort of touched on it. But yeah, historical fiction. Yes, yes. I refuse to call it historical fiction if it's that. If it's no, like maybe like the 50s. At the very latest, I'm willing to accept as historical fiction. But like, no. More antebellum books. Sure. Yeah, I'm not opposed to that. I'm just personally more interested in slightly older history than that. Just in general. So like, yeah. Stuff set in the 1960s and 70s is historical fiction, at least when it's set in counterculture settings or the like. I think there might be a case made for certain types of books, but like I've seen people call like a police detective book set in the 80s a historical mystery, and I'm like, no, this is just a mystery. Like this, no. I can see how like some, if it really really deals with like specific events at the time, I can see it, but it really depends on the book, in my opinion, for like 60s 70s. No, not 70s, 60s. I'm willing to take 60s. 70s, no. I refuse. I refuse to accept 70s as historical fiction. When it's set in times I've been alive, I just refuse to accept label historical fiction. Like I wasn't even alive in the 70s. Like that's when my parents were born in the 70s. But I'm still not willing to accept it. Storm of Steel is Ernst Junger's memoir and had to play with right-wing Germans up until today. It is frustrating to read. I can see why a book that is popular with right-wing Germans can be frustrating. Or like right-wing anyone can be frustrating. Yay, annual wrestling for Magical Readathon. We spend a year on World War II in school. Is that what his comment is about? I'm behind on comments. I don't know what stuff is about anymore. World War I is over 100 years ago. Yes, World War I feel is definitely historical fiction. Like World War II, I feel like is definitely historical fiction as well. It's just after that I'm like, I don't know. Roller. Ooh, nice. And then the crippled gods. Okay. Good. Two very different books as well. Hope you enjoy. Oh yeah, so it was about the World War II. Yeah, I can see that, but it's just, I think my theory is actually like the teacher from the 5th year assumed it would be in the 6th year, and the teacher from the 6th year assumed that we already would have covered it in the 5th year. So I think it's kind of an accident that we skipped it. That is my theory, at least. I don't know. Sorry to get political, but I think what people should have read or actually understood. And Frank. I am not entirely sure what exactly you mean by this. But, yeah. I never read it in school either. I also read it on my own. So, yeah. For historical fiction, I wanted to be a portrait of a specific time and culture moment, and not just another genre, but set somewhere in the past. Yeah. I was definitely like talking about like what the point I made of like the historical mystery. I wouldn't call that historical fiction regardless. I would say it's a historical mystery, which is the subgenre of mystery. And yeah, I guess I think that this is it's just hard for this because I'm like, yeah, but just a story set in the past should be historical fiction, right? Like a story in a fantasy world is a fantasy, then why can't like a story set in a fictional world be historical fiction? I think it's kind of the same. You know, like maybe not the primary genre necessarily, but it's definitely part of that, I think. But I also get what you're saying. But genre is, the rules are made up and it doesn't matter anyway. So yeah. Yeah, true. Like crime fiction set in the Roman Empire is not necessarily official, but it is a historical mystery. But I think that like genre blends don't necessarily, you know, like whichever element of them is the strongest, I think constitutes what like the genre blend is. Yes, bad lesson plans. 5th year teacher was behind the schedule. I don't know like whose fault it would be then, but yeah, it's kind of funny to think about that. Just accidentally skipped something. But then it also like the medieval thing, when we learn about the Middle Ages, there's also a lot of things that we didn't really talk about. Like we never really talked about like Jules Spoordeslag. So like maybe it was just my school being weird and not like covering pretty big events, I guess. Still can't believe Google's ASM redefined Africa as German. Yikes. And this is why we should not trust AI. Well, there's more reasons, but this is an example of one of them. Wouldn't call Dresden Files or Rose of London fantasy, but crime fiction in a fantasy world. I get that, but that is not necessarily how most people define it, I think. Which you can sort of hold debate. I think with those, it's like maybe crime fiction first and fantasy second, but it is both, right? Like you have books that fit more than one genre, and I think that, like, right, you get what I mean. Good luck, Kitty, on calling Grandma. We're gonna start a next sprint soon. I'll just try to get to the end of the comments real quick. I feel like we might be used more. I feel like we might just be more used to when things were just one genre, so you would then have called that both crime novel and not thought thriller. Yes. I think that we're just trying to shove everything in one genre when that is not necessarily where we're at. And also, I think we're trying to shove things in definitions of genre that worked however many years ago, but maybe no longer reflect what a genre is today. Like with romantasy, like what are we doing with that? Like, is it a genre in and of itself? Is it part of romance? Is it part of fantasy? Where is it? And it's just all wobbly and messy. And honestly, like, it's all made up. Like, we made up these genres. It's not like some God-given organization system or something. Like, it doesn't really matter that much. So yeah. I think Dresden Files ends up having so many fantasy characters in them that it fall comfortably into urban fantasy. I haven't read a Dresden Files, so I can't comment on that. History in school is always weird because there's always holes because the teachers get lost on the way. Yeah, that's also the thing. You can never cover everything. But, like, I don't know, there's like certain things that are like the typical things that you would cover that weren't in my school, which is interesting. I'm also not really mad about them because, like, you end up like learning about those things kind of naturally through existing. So, like, I don't mind that we got to spend time on other things. But at the same time, no. These are about Dresden. I can comment on that. Regardless, a book is a book, it's a story, whatever name you call it, labels are a lie. Yes, essentially, like, genre is a social construct. So none of the genre cups are not going to kick your door down. So yeah. Historical romance sucks, but that's the thing. Like, I think of like historical mystery as just a subgenre of mystery at this point. Just like I think fantasy mystery is a subgenre of mystery, but it all depends on like how, how big of a deal, like how important certain elements are, if that makes sense. That's how I personally think of it. And with that, I'm going to start the next sprint because otherwise we're talking forever. So I will see you in 45. Hello, how did that go? I'm a quarter into my book. So that's great. Where did we go? Oh, Claudia left. Probably already gone, but bye. Thanks for joining us tonight. And you finished a phone call. Yay! Did the coloring app. That really helped a lot. Yeah, that's great. I really like a coloring app. I think it's really relaxing. Just like shut off your brain and wind down a little bit. But how did that sprint go? I think it's getting really intriguing in my book. We're having this plot where there's this team in the pub quizzes that appears to be cheating the entire time. And I have a theory, but I'm not entirely sure if that's going to be correct because there appears to be some weird other things going on as well. So we'll see. I didn't realize I'm bad at focusing on a book tonight. Oh no. Well, everyone has those nights. You know, it happens. I think I'm gonna say that was the last sprint because I'm actually pretty tired. So I'll just do this chatty bit however long it lasts, and then I'm gonna end the stream. I might read a little bit more on my own, but that is going to be the last sprint we do together. Page 112. Fantastic. Oh, I'm really tired. I can't think right now. Hang on. And I have class tomorrow morning, so I have to wake up at a decent time, which, you know, means I can't make it overly late. Anyway. Feeding the cat. She doesn't know yet. She doesn't have to go without food for 12 hours. Oh no. No, she won't like that. Poor Faith. Yes, indeed. Poor Faith. First two painkillers I've taken at least a decade. Yeah, well, I can imagine if you're used to just sitting your way through it, that suddenly taking painkillers can feel weird. And yes, very much male privilege. I think it's always really interesting if the pharmacist here is a man and I go buying painkillers and he's like trying to explain how to use it. I'm like, I know, I've taken painkillers in my life. It's okay, I know. So yeah. It's I the toxic masculinity of not taking pain medication. Oh dear. And just I every time I take one, I'm like, I don't want to take a painkiller right now. Like, I don't want to have to take a painkiller right now. I just want to be able to sit through it, but I can't. It's, no, no, yeah, no. I'm trying to think of something to talk about, but my brain is just, I don't know. Um, what can I say? Um, yes, sometimes brains don't brain so good. I've been reading ancient Greek all day, which I am a little bit out of it. It's the start of the semester, so like once things get going, it'll be worse or better once I get the hang of it again. But after a whole summer of not reading much Greek, it's a bit of a struggle. Ooh, beer and cookies. Now I want a cookie. I still have some cookies. I might eat one. Was here to sprint fears. Sounds like a good time to call in. Yeah. So I think I'm at like 1:45 at the latest. I'm gonna end it. So oh yeah, the surgery with alcohol and caffeinated drinks. Yeah. I can imagine that suddenly having, if like beer or tea to sort of, as a comfort drink, I can get that, like, not being able to drink them now could be a bit of a pain. Anyway, I'm really gonna end it because I'm tired and I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Thank you all for joining me tonight. I hope you enjoyed the sprints and my weird rambles in between. And I hope to sprint again. Maybe next week or so. We'll see. I will look at what my schedule is like. So yeah, I'll see you guys around probably in like Discord or somewhere else. So bye.